So we're going to call the meeting. We're going to call the meeting of the MEDC, Montgomery Economic Development Corporation, July 16th at 6 p.m. And I wanted to check with Mr. James and Mr. Gary to see if there are any public comments that have registered to talk to us today.
None have been submitted.
Okay. All right, so we'll call this meeting to order, and no public comments. We'll go right into the agenda then. And first item on the agenda, and first off, let me just say that we have Arnett Easley, Ron Mondine, Casey's here, and Carol's here. Caroline is here. So if we would, we have a quorum. So if we could, let's just jump in. And has everybody had a chance to look over the minutes of the meeting? Yes, no, maybe? Yes? Okay. Any comments? Questions? Burnett? No? Okay. Carol?
No, sir.
Okay.
I wasn't here.
Nobody has. Okay. All right. We'll wait to the boarding part. Okay. So then can I have a motion to approve the minutes June 27th?
Make a motion to accept the minutes as presented for meeting of June 27th.
Can I have a second? Second. So it's been motioned and seconded that we accept the minutes of the meeting for June 27, 2024. This motion is amendable, debatable. It requires a majority vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Okay, so the ayes have it. All right, next we're going to jump into the June 2024 financial report. And I believe, Carol, is that something that you want to share with us?
Yes, sir. We all got copies of it. Were there any questions? Mary Ann and I did not see anything that we thought needed to be brought to anybody's attention. I know I saw on there what the interest rate was for the text pool accounts was 5.31% for the month of June.
Okay.
Any questions?
I don't have any questions on the financial report. How about you, Brian? You're always good about nothing? Okay.
I can move to approve the financial report for June 2024.
Okay. So it's been motioned and seconded that we approve the financial report for June 2024. This motion is amendable, debatable, requires majority vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Ayes have it, and the June 2024 financial report has been approved. Number 3, consideration and possible action on a grant request for $5,000 submitted by the Montgomery Community Band. And I believe we have some of the band members here.
This is Joe here, right? Joe, let me read this just for the record before you start. So I just want to read what Dave's got down here. The Montgomery Community Band received $3,000 grant from the MEDC in the 2023 parade. Operating expenses are not all over. The stated purpose of the grant request to offset expenses related to earning space for practices and concerts throughout the year, along with other miscellaneous expenses detailed in the attached information package. The board of directors of this corporation values the arts and culture, believes sales tax, appropriate source of funding for this type of event initiative, approval of the grant requested amount or lesser amount is appropriate as you see fit. So the current fiscal year budget allocated $20,000 for grants, for economic development grants, such as this one. $1,300 has been spent to date. So we have $18,700 remains unspent in this line item. So, Mr. Fiorelli, if you want to just kind of explain what you're asking.
Sure.
Go from there.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. My name is Joe Fiorelli. I'm the founder and president of Montgomery Community Band. We've been in existence since late 2022. We've used the donation we provided last year to help start up our costs. In 2023, we had 4 formal concerts. Our band has about 70 average members in the community. We played in 19 different community events throughout Montgomery City and had a unique audience. We estimate about 500 people. Since that time in 2024, we've had 2 more concerts. Our concert last week, we estimated about 300 members of the community in attendance. many of which were new to the audience, first time learning about our organization. Our Facebook has about a little over 500 followers, and we get about 2,000 visits a month on our Facebook page. We're seeking $5,000 so we can help continue the costs of our rehearsal fees and some of our ongoing maintenance, purchasing new music, as well as other costs associated with the band. We rehearse at Lake Creek High School every Sunday evening and have about 4 to 5 concerts a year, depending on our schedule. We're taking a little summer break now. We'll be back in starting rehearsals August 11th, with our next concert tentatively scheduled for October 20th. We receive a very reduced rate from Montgomery ISD to rehearse there. We only have to pay for the security fee. They don't charge us any overhead and any administrative fees, any facility or equipment use fees, and allow us to use all of their music equipment for free of charge at that point. We did originally, when we first started, our security cost was $70 per rehearsal. Due to some increases in their budget, our increased cost has gone up to $200 per rehearsal. But again, that's after many conversations with their leadership, that's a straight pass-through cost for the security to be there. There's no extra charge built into that. So the $5,000 that we're seeking from y'all will help go towards continuing those costs. We have ongoing monthly donations that we're working to grow. We have dedicated people that have experience in nonprofit grant writing and fundraising that are helping us become self-sustaining, so that down the road we don't need to seek the city, and you can help us promote the concert and help build the audience.
Do you guys sell tickets to your events?
No, concerts are free of charge. There's no membership dues for the band. Anybody can come play for free and come sit in the audience for free.
Do you print any kind of a program?
Yes, we have a printed program for every concert that we try to seek a sponsor to cover the cost of that, and we seek sponsors for the concert itself, for rehearsals, for sections, and any sponsorship we get for any item of that, we announce them on our Facebook. We give them credit, shout outs in the concert. In the program, we'll notate who the sponsor was for the concert. Montgomery ISD has been a big supporter of ours. The city last year was a great supporter, so they've been listed in every program to date.
Okay. I was just curious if you had a way to highlight who's partnering with you.
Yeah, oh, of course, definitely.
Okay.
Wow, that's amazing. Whose idea was to come up in 22?
Mine is November, one day, I've been doing music education. I played trumpet since I was in middle school. Kind of went away from it to pursue other careers, and I just felt like I wanted to get back into it. There's other community bands that exist outside the Montgomery area, and they were, schedule-wise, they didn't fit into what I was looking for. I looked at the map, and I was like, there's a lot of people in Montgomery. I bet you some of them play an instrument. So I threw together a Facebook page, put together a quick little logo to use the flag, and said Montgomery Community Band. Put out, a call, said, hey, the band exists. If you play an instrument, sign up. And then, over the course of that December of 2022, I had about 60, 70 people fill out that form, many of which are on our wall of support you see over here.
Wall of support, that's great. What a great way to galvanize the community and bring people together.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome.
How do you guys advertise your concerts?
So right now, it's just completely organic. We print out some flyers. We basically try to tell the band, hey, take a flyer, go put it somewhere. We're members of the Chamber of Commerce, so we try to get out to their monthly get-togethers to try to build some relationships that way. And then just have people in the band share our Facebook posts and everything. We don't do any paid advertising at this point. We want to be a little more financially stable.
But, Sarah, how many, is it okay to talk to Sarah? How many followers do we have?
13,000.
So we have 13,000 followers on our Facebook.
Yeah, so that's what I was gonna ask.
What?
One of the conditions for this grant would be that you have to tell us the concert date so we can put them on our Facebook.
Yes. Oh, I mean,
Let's not argue with that. I'm sure.
You can write it for us.
we want to tap that up during.
And not just us. I mean, we could probably get other community businesses in the area to support, and that would highlight it, especially if it shows that the city is invested in the arts, in which we are, and we think that that's a great thing. So,
I actually have letters in front of you from 3 different local businesses that have written a letter of support for us.
So there's one, your Facebook page is the only place that you post your concert dates, I think? 'Cause
Yeah, so the events on
Not to be
Facebook.
mean, but I've never heard of Montgomery Community Band.
While we're here, we gotta try to grow it. Yeah, right now everything's through Facebook. We have a website too. that helps kind of filter people that search it and then bring it to Facebook. And then afterwards, we'll upload the videos to the concerts to YouTube. We also live stream all the concerts. So we know a lot of people in the band have a lot of family that's not in the Montgomery area. So we get a number of hundreds plus views of the concerts during the live stream and for the, the week or so afterwards.
How many people can in the auditorium hold that you play in?
The auditorium at Lake Creek High School can hold up to 8,000.
Okay, so you want to fill the space if you
That's the
can,
plan.
right?
Yes, sir.
I'm just wondering if it wouldn't be a good idea to partner, I mean, really get the word out well in advance, and we could kind of get a social media storm together and really promote it, maybe with a little sound clip, or, photos of the band, and just anything that maybe you could direct to one of us here on the board, and we might be able to make sure that it gets posted on.
I can put in with Patty. Patty.
Who?
Patty.
Oh, Patty, okay.
Yep, we have our social media committee chair over here, so.
Oh, you
we're
got
ready to go.
Wow, you got a committee chair and everything. You're more organized than we are. That's awesome.
Have you never done concerts here in Montgomery?
We started at Montgomery High School, but due to the construction they were doing to the auditorium, we moved to Lake Creek. We're going through this concert season at Lake Creek, and then we'll reconsider if we're staying there, we're going to bounce back and forth.
Aren't you at the Freedom Fest,
Yes.
the parade?
Yeah, we've been at both the
Played
Freedom
there.
Fest and the Winter Parade.
And then you played a couple of other things that.
Yeah, so in the fall, I know the city was putting on the Sip and Strolls, we performed.
Yes.
We had a subset of that, go out and play, I think at least about 7 or 8 of them.
Yes.
At the Quilt Walk, we had we had a group perform there as well. So we also have a small ensembles committee chair because we learned quickly that, we have a full band, but we have a lot of people that just want to play smaller groups. We have different events going on that they're just looking for some musicians to come out. So we have groups that can
And I know this, maybe, I know you guys do this as a free concert, but maybe can you monetize your ensembles and things like that for events?
So we have half and half. I know there's one group that's actually going to go perform an event this fall for one of the churches in the city, and it's usually we try to have a suggested donation.
Yeah, of course. Okay, because are you a 501c3?
Yes, sir.
Glad you answered that correctly.
I think they told us that.
So I'd like to make a motion to grant the request for $5,000 to the Montgomery Community Band.
Second.
If I may, before we vote, I need to read the caption of the resolution. A resolution of the Montgomery Economic Development Corporation awarding an economic development grant to the Montgomery Community Band in the amount of $5,000, providing a repealer, providing for severability, and providing an effective date.
Okay, thank you for that. All right, so it's been motioned and seconded that we do indeed grant $5,000. That request has been approved with a positive vote, so it's amendable, debatable.
We need to amend it, we need to do a incremental date, you said?
No, sir, you're good. You motioned, Carol seconded, y'all are good for a vote. I just needed to read the caption into the record so that y'all know the resolution that you're voting on.
Okay, so the motion is amendable, debatable, it requires a majority vote. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, okay, so the ayes carried. You got $5,000. Okay, I can do that.
Joe, I'll reach back out to you. Patty's in training this week.
Oh, I didn't have that on my
Thank you so much.
I'll need, James, yeah, I'll need to sign that resolution.
Yes, sir, I'll send it to you electronically for electronic signature tomorrow.
Wow, we are getting fancy. Okay.
We are no longer in the Stone Age.
That's fantastic. Okay, let me pull this back up real quick. I have
a
this.
stick around, you're welcome to, but.
If you start pulling swords out now.
Yeah. I see, take the money and run.
So, Mr. Miss, can I play my wife's board or family?
worry about your habits.
Have a good one. Thank you all.
That's sweet, you're welcome. All right, so, discussion on hiring an ED director. Okay, I know. All right, so the ED services can provide, usually, ED services can be provided through the hiring of an economic development professional as a city employee, or the services can be provided through consulting by a professional ED firm. In our meeting, I'll review the pros and cons. Gary will review the pros and cons of each pathway, and I will review recent RFQ, which we published last month, and the responses that are enclosed in the packet.
Yeah,
So, Mr. City Administrator.
I didn't put the responses in there because I was getting them in as I was putting this together.
Okay.
So I think that could be part of another discussion. So if you guys recall, when I got here, we had the evolution with city council talking about priorities. One of the priorities that came out of there was the hiring of an economic development director and doing a strategic plan with the Economic Development Corporation. One could be done before the other. We were kind of looking at both the same. So in looking at, so I met with the city of Navajo's ED director out there. We talked about what ED in Texas looks like, what pathway she took to get hired, some of the nuances of economic development in the state of Texas, because I'm not from here, so there's differences. And a lot of the similarities that in ED throughout the country that are best practices throughout economic development that I do know. So in the time that we posted the recruitment and went through that evolution, which took us all the way to the first week of February, that's where you guys interviewed those three candidates. So Dave and I interviewed those three candidates. And I'm not going to talk about anybody specifically, I'll just talk in generalities. Yes, those three were qualified. And if you recall, us three had that conversation long after that, we talked about this. At that point, I probably could have gone either way. The more time I spent here, the more time that I took in looking at the issues that we have, how we're set up, talking about bandwidth, room, physical room is a big issue for us. So that is also one of the big things. We just don't have room for anybody else unless we want to get bunk desks. And then, we can do that. But,
Bunk desk?
Yeah,
Oh, gotcha, okay.
like a couple of tech.
Yeah, like, yeah.
So anyway, so we're looking at that and just my history of economic development. So I spent 10 years at Farragut, which is not dissimilar from what we have going on here, a little bigger. The economy was a little bit better, the property was a lot hotter at that time I was there. And even through that evolution, that 10 years, we never hired an economic development director. What we did is we hired a consulting firm to guide us through creating the EDC. We kind of had the bones together. We created the EDC. We put a program together. We put a strategic plan together. We put a capital plan together. And then we also started going out to Vegas to start doing the recruiting through ICS. So that 10, 12 years, it took a long time when we got that stood up and it started rocking. So the more I thought about what we had to do, and I'll just run through some of the cons that I wrote down today and thinking about this. So we did on the economic development director path. Here's what we're looking at as issues.
Okay.
So the salary's a little low, okay, for a director. That's one, we knew that going on. We're in an isolated location. That's another factor. I heard you say earlier that we would like to get somebody from here to work as an economic developer. That would be fantastic. Someone that knows the area. I just don't think you can find that one. One guy was from Conroe, if you remember, but he also spent the majority of his time in rural Kentucky.
Right.
So that was not, he wasn't a local guy as far as I was concerned. I mean, the other two were not from. The market's lean with economic development directors for around this area. We have no room in City Hall. The management bandwidth. So if you look at their organizational chart. So you've got the EDCs lateral to the, subordinate lateral to the council, and you've got the organization down here. We talked earlier when we were going to do the ED director to have him report to the city administrator, which I think we do that. That's the right way. when we did the recruitment and then we did the interviews, we realized we could do that. I knew that pretty quickly. We could have easily called a special meeting with the council, I could have got that done in a couple days.
Right.
And I'm not saying I use that as an excuse to cancel this recruitment, but it was not, I was not upset that went away and that guy went another job. I kind of knew that was gonna happen, and I just wasn't really confident in pulling the trigger.
Okay, I don't disagree with anything you just said. What I'm wondering is why it's taken us this long to get to the finish line on this.
Yes.
And you could have told me back then, 2 months ago, that you didn't have any intention of hiring a director, and we would have gone completely.
Well, if you remember, we did meet, and we talked about that, we talked about going down this path with the consultant.
But then we brought in retail strategies. And
That's what I was talking about.
okay, but that's really, their focus is more on bringing businesses into town. We don't have the people to support the businesses we need.
Yeah.
Right
And
now.
that's a conversation I kind of want to evolve into, but
Okay.
I wanted to kind of lay the framework
All right.
of why.
Well, I understand the why, I'm just wondering is this company, the ED consultant that we all were presented to, is that the path that you still think is the best way to go?
If we are going to go for retail recruitment, that is the path we need to go. If we're not going to go for retail recruitment, then we need to look at other firms, and the conversation we had about that. I don't disagree with that. It's got to be based on what you guys want. I've never worked with a firm that brought in, anytime I've ever worked with, so you're talking about bringing in, like a biomedical, something that's going to create jobs.
Right.
All of that economic development runs through the state. If a company wants to come to the state of Texas and locate and find a place, they're gonna talk to the state economic development director or whoever's at that agency.
Yes.
And find out which cities are working with them and eligible for, obviously, tax abatements and all the other stuff that's gonna bring that in. I've never worked with a firm that does that specifically. I've only worked with retail recruitment firms.
Well, let me ask you this, Gary, if we did go that route, we did find a really strong consulting firm that had a good history, why would that person have to report directly to you? I know they have to get,
You're talking about a consultant?
yes.
Consultant have to report to me.
They would report to us,
Sure.
right? Which, I mean, a small committee here could get together and we could make sure that you're kind of, you're absolved from all the day-to-day responsibility, but we can make sure they get things done, I guess is what I'm trying to
Yeah,
say.
contract management is much easier than employee management.
Okay, well, I think that that's a great idea, if we can, do we have any possible companies that do that?
What do you have out right now? I mean, you did an ED RFQ.
Yeah, I
Don't
mean,
give up,
it's
or is that,
expired, it's in your package.
So the conversation
is
that
that
Gary and
just
I had was,
That's not fair.
the retail gonna show up. When the people get here, the retail's gonna get here. What's going to get is that cancer clinic, that, those.
yeah, so how do we get that?
Well, that's.
Because I think you're right, people are coming and, retail will follow,
Right.
naturally, just like.
Just like what we got now,
Yeah.
it's gonna pop up because
And-
they can support.
And I think, I've thought about Montgomery, like, no one in Montgomery lives here, and we've had that conversation last time, so how do we solve that?
Well, and to Gary's point, I know the state, those companies like that are looking for homes, they go to the state, right? And it's getting in with the right people with the state, or knowing, my problem is I don't even know who you talk to with the state that says,
Yeah,
these are the companies, just go to,
None of us do.
Right.
That's why we want to fast
And it's
track
almost
this.
evolved into a racket, because you almost have to be in that loop to be one of these communities that's eligible to
Right.
get
Well, here's the
land
thing,
great corporation.
here's the thing, Gary, we don't even know what we want to hire because none of us have ever done the job. So for us, I mean, I know what good work ethic looks like, just like you do. I know what competence, like this gentleman behind you, I can see competence when I shake his hand. It's what we want is somebody that does not have to dilute you anymore, or your resources, or your other human resources, or your spatial resources, but that will report to us on a regular basis so that we can get things done. We just want to do something. We want to make sure that at the end of the day, and everybody will be the beneficiary of that. Your whole team will benefit from that if we can get things done.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. It's a question is, where do we begin?
Well, what I would do, so I can scrap this. So this is just an RFQ that I want to put out there to see what kind of response we can get back.
Is this for an RFQ for
Just for economic development, for firms to send me their qualifications.
Oh, firms,
So
okay.
not an RFP,
That's what you
I just wanted to find out what firms were out there that were qualified, that would
Right.
respond to
Okay.
something that we put out. And we got 3 responses, including retail strategy.
awesome?
Well, not really.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's good we got responses, but I was expecting more.
How long is the,
Something from.
a month? Wow.
Yeah, so, what I can do is I can recreate, what I'd like to do is go back, let me talk to retail strategists, some of the other people I know that are in ED, and ask them the question.
Yeah.
You know, this is what we want to do. Are there firms out there that can shepherd us through that process and put the city of Montgomery in front of the right people to make sure that we're available for these opportunities?
Okay, so you're talking about going to whom to get that
Just
information?
talk to people that I know.
Why can't we contact the Texas EDC
We can.
and ask them who they would recommend if they were, because they have relationships with other people.
Yeah, and I'll cast a while, I'll ask everybody.
Yeah, but I'm saying just go to the place where we're gonna get the most obvious opportunity and see who they tend to be friendly with. you
I'm
know?
on a listserv with all the city managers
Yeah,
internationally.
Oh, good.
So I can
Okay.
post something on there.
okay, good.
Just ask the question, and I'll get responses from other cities saying,
Can
hey, this is what we've done, this is what we do.
Yeah, and if you need me or one of the other board members to bird dog some of this, so that it's not just a day-to-day thing, I mean, our hands are raised. man.
If
We're
you guys wanna research some of this stuff, please do, and just send it to me,
Right.
I'll aggregate it and then
Okay.
present it back
I
to you.
mean, like I said, we've got a bunch of volunteers over here, and most everybody's got jobs. I don't as much, anymore, so I'm happy to help out any way I can to make sure we push
Yeah.
this ball down the hill just a little bit.
Yeah, I'm all about team
Okay,
effort.
well, I'm sort of in uncharted territory, but that was the place I always start from anyway, and I was an entrepreneur, so I don't mind looking, digging, and helping. If you've got some resources you can share with me,
Yeah.
I'll be more than happy to bird dog.
Okay.
All right? So, what do you
Shannon
think?
Reed brought a lady to the chamber meeting last month that was involved in medical.
The biomedical.
And she told us that Woodlands they're working with Woodlands, they're working with Conroe, and they're looking for other areas. I did not talk to the lady when the meeting was over. I have her name and number. I know Shannon knows her real well, and Shannon was hoping that Montgomery could look good for her. But I haven't talked to Shannon afterwards. But
I'll reach out to
we
you.
might do
Doesn't
that.
have to be about
James?
I have,
It doesn't
be-
have to
It's
be
kind of-
that, but that's just a good example.
I have all of the
We would
contact
be
information,
able to
yeah.
have someone who could advise us and strategize with us on what we could attract here.
Right.
We need higher paying jobs, where they're local, right, Gary? I mean, because if they have higher paying jobs, they can buy better houses, pay more taxes, and in turn, they can contribute to the community.
Well, they're gonna spend their money right here.
Exactly, that's it. Live and spend money here. I mean, and we're not a massive footprint, so, where are the opportunities to grow? And that was something I wanted to ask you before we even kind of pushed on this. I mean, is this possible for us to grow more than beyond our bounds right now? Or our boundaries spatially, yes.
We have a lot of space for that kind of stuff. And we protected it as council, we haven't rezoned anything, haven't allowed to rezone anything to residential, commercial and industrial spaces we protected, so we have a lot.
All right, so the next question is, how close are we to wrapping up the actual zoning ordinances?
Oh, it'll be a while.
It is?
We've got some interim ordinances coming over the next couple of months, which will kind of be
Give us a little boilerplate.
hold the fort down type of ordinances.
Okay.
And then over the next year, we'll have, the rest of that stuff coming.
Yeah, because I'm sure those would be some of the first questions that are asked by any potential suitors.
Yeah. And maybe one thing to keep in, I'm sorry. Here,
No, go ahead.
one thing to keep in the back of your head is while we go through all this, I understand that with Home Depot coming in and HEB and some of these other places, that we're gonna get the retail that's gonna happen. I just wanna put in your heads, if you guys have an interest in trying to control what type of retail we get, that would be something that a
Retail
strategy
strategy.
That was a
would
conversation
help us with.
we had, that was a conversation when they came, was we
Yeah.
are concerned about downtown preserving that. I don't think that's necessarily our primary focus, but it's something I am concerned about whenever big box stores come in and drive out local businesses. How do we support downtown?
That's the idea for zoning ordinances though, is to, then we can draw the lines, and that's being taken care of by the ordinances, so that's where I'm a little bit taking, we don't need a consultant to tell us what we already have hired a consultant to do.
Yeah.
We hired a consultant to do that.
Yeah, so they would, their job would be to try to go out, and they would get with us and basically say, hey, what do you guys wanna go after?
Right.
And this is what we're gonna go after.
Absolutely, when that time, but we're not there yet.
Yeah, I mean, I'm saying, when you guys feel we get there, just keep that in the back of your heads. What I would hate to have happen is we're trucking along, we forget about that component, all of a sudden we're getting railed
Yeah.
with.
Right.
I don't think we're gonna
Nail
forget about
shops
that
and
component,
such.
but I'm 100% in agreement that we gotta find more bodies to sit in this area that live, sleep, drink,
Yeah.
eat, shop,
We
do all
go
that.
to
So-
retail.
And then you can put, yeah, because
So
you
we
can't,
can't support the retail.
you can't support it. It's not possible right now. Hotel, anything, to get people into this city, to stay in this city, work in the city, to live in the city, to eat in the city. So, all right, so Gary, I hear you loud and clear. Basically, I don't know how the board feels. Arnett, do you have anything to add?
No, I'm down with Ed. I think, along with everything we discussed, I really think that Montgomery, the city as a whole, to attract people across the board, I still think that we have to address the beautification aspects of the city. It's areas that's kind of lying dormant and have been addressed, and, MEDC, that's part of our mission as well. You know, to look at areas that we can help improve. In fact, I'm constantly trying to take on properties to do that myself, and you got to start somewhere. And I think we have to notify the homeowner. A lot of people think people want to take it from them. Just ask, what can we do to help you? I think that question got to be asked, and then maybe get on board. Nobody ever addressing about the need to clean up the thoroughfares and whatnot. I know when I was on planning and zoning, we had plans to beautify the four quarters. I don't know what happened to that idea. And I know it takes resources to do that. But I think if you'd be surprised what you can do with some volunteer help, and $15,000 to $20,000 would make a difference. You know? So, matter of fact, that $5,000 you just give those people would help with bringing some dumpsters. You know, so I think those issues too, not to be heavy-handed or scare people or anything, but the question has to be asked. You know, what can we do to help you? And those questions have to be asked. You know, and just to put it on a person's mind, if you ask that question, then they'll start to work. You know, little reverse psychology.
I think we've got some budget for cleanup and blight and stuff like that that we can. It's just we need some direction on who needs the help and how can we facilitate that.
Yeah.
And so,
So I guess then it would be, drive around and get a list of all the properties that look like, that are looking rough,
Yeah.
and say, okay, find out who owns them,
Mm-hmm.
and then make a phone call.
Yeah, because, you know, our duty as a board is to try to address those issues that need to be addressed, you know, not make it look like a scare tactic that people
Right.
take. So I think it has to be asked.
I don't think we have the capability to take anything from anybody, but I think we can invest in
You can help out.
Yeah,
You can help.
so.
All right, so there's really no, Carol, was that what you wanted to add, was talking about Shannon's, the person that's in the medical side of things?
And what was our next step?
I would like to keep this on as a standing item on the agenda, just so
I
we
think
can keep
y'all
track of
two
it.
work to do homework. I think
Yeah.
it's great. I think you're reaching out to the state economic development corporation or whatever
traction on this before the next meeting, I can guarantee you.
So can we say it's gonna come up to the next meeting to kind of hold our feet to the fire?
We may do anything, I'll just keep it on the agenda.
We'll just leave it on the agenda. Okay, very good.
Our priorities.
Between now and the next meeting, we'll do some research, whatever you guys get,
And
we'll put together.
We're all in agreement that we're gonna go with the consultant contracts.
No, I
If we
Or
can-
official.
Yeah, we're gonna research.
We
Not
need to
a-
research it first.
No, we're gonna
Not a
research it.
direct.
Find one that that's.
We don't even know if there is a consultant that can do what we want, so that's what we're gonna
We-
research.
So, yeah, so Carol, there's an RFQ out there for a director and or a consultant right now, but in the meantime, we're gonna try to find a firm that could represent us. And then we'll come back next month with some options, some good options, I hope. Yeah, and that way we can make a determination and finally get this monkey off our back, 'cause I mean, we gotta go, we're ready to go. All right, so, we'll table that till the next go around, and, in the meantime, we'll hop over to the, discussion of, reviewing the draft of the 25 MEDC budget, and it,
I can run through this real quick. Kind of changed since I put this agenda out. I met with Mary Ann this morning, we kind of ran through the budget, ran through a lot of things, just capital projects, some of the trends in the EDC. What we'd like to do is have a call for a workshop with you all, just to sit down, go through this budget, talk about capital projects that you guys want to do, talk about some of the eligible projects maybe the city has that the MEDC may want to take on, and put together somewhat of a CIP for y'all. And also, sit down and go through the numbers, because obviously the next item is the crime control prevention district, which you guys know that is part of that's gonna come out of the EDC budget. I would like to talk about the items that we're gonna pull from this year and have that conversation, so everybody leaves that room comfortable, and understands what's happening. I don't think we can do that tonight, so I'd like to just dedicate some time with you all to do that.
all right, so, go ahead, Paul. Go.
Did you?
We don't need to do anything, I wanted to put the worksheet in the agenda so you guys had it.
Okay, that's what this is right here, right?
That's the worksheet, and the line items that are filled out on the far right side, those are Patty's events, so you see in there,
Okay.
she's got the $71,000 covers all events. So we just asked her to fill that out, so we knew what she was gonna ask for. And then I think you guys are gonna have about $780,000, in your budget for next year. And then, so then the following year is when I think you guys are gonna be back to your normal revenue. One point something.
It'll be actually higher. It'll be higher than that.
What is,
But isn't the city's revenue gonna be
I
higher
mean,
too?
are we already?
Yeah, I mean, it's just gonna be a bigger, it's gonna be a bigger pie that we're gonna take a piece of. So yes, hopefully all the revenues gonna be higher.
Right.
We take 1 cent right now, you guys take half, and then the other half of that cent goes towards tax relief for homeowners. So that, we'll be having that half, so a quarter will go to the prime district, if it's approved. The other quarter will remain with MEDC, but that following budget year, Mary Ann is anticipating you guys will be back to that same revenue level as you guys are at.
Just have, well, we'll wait till we get to
But
that.
I want to
know,
first of all, I want to say that I understand why you guys are upset. And we dropped the ball because you guys have not been kept moving, and I apologize for that. It wasn't intentional, it's just,
Things are moving pretty fast.
it's February, and all of a sudden we're in July. And it's just, so again, back to bandwidth, we're doing our best. And we're trying to keep up with this stuff. And I understand it's upsetting when you guys are kept in the loop and not getting things on time, but I want you to know that the staff is trying to take steps.
Good.
Well, this is very much married to the next point, so
Yes.
we need to, how we need to have that discussion. But I would like to know why we need the crime control prevention district. One, maybe our first question is the EDC not allowed to support capital improvement projects?
Yeah.
Only
And,
certain,
you know,
only certain.
Yeah, okay, so yeah.
I think a strong argument can be
Be
made,
very
but
careful about, yes, because they can only support certain ones.
These are
that's
the
what I want
projects.
clarity on, because I think the EDC is very willing to support capital improvement projects, because that's what's needed to keep the city growing.
roads, rail spurs, water and sewer utilities, electric utilities, gas utilities, drainage.
So water,
Drainage is a huge issue for us.
I was under the understanding they couldn't do water.
so water and sewer utilities is a huge monetary demand right now for the city, is my understanding.
That's where all our money goes.
And that's something that the EDC is, we fork over 200 every year. If that's just a discussion we need to have, that the city needs more money from the EDC to support, because we're at a tight spot where we're growing so fast that we can't keep up, is my understanding. And that's the same problem that Connor's having, same problem that Magnolia's having. And if our job is to promote economic, growth of the city, that's a primary function of economic growth, is providing support utilities. I'm wondering why we have to do the crime control and prevention district if we haven't even been asked if we can pull over more money. Because I think that's the whole reason for the crime and prevention control district. The district is so that we can funnel more money, from the EDC into the crime and into the police force, so that less money goes from the city to the police force and goes toward water and sewer.
That's what happens.
So let's, if we can do this, that's the next agenda item, so if we can finish this one and then move on to that one. So what I recommend for the budget is, and I'm glad you brought that up, is the CIP, that workshop I want to do is go through your operating budget, and then I want to look at stuff like this, and then talk about what you guys are willing to participate with the city for these projects.
Okay.
And then put a CIP together. I mean, I don't even know what project you guys are working on right now. I try to find some sort of project for this, I can't.
Well, we just fork over $200,000 to the city, and we support like 4 or 5 of them.
Well,
We do that every year.
Right.
The 200,000, that's only paid for a fraction.
And that's what I'm saying, though, is like, no one's asked us for more. That was just what was
Well,
done
you
in the
know,
past.
that 200 grand is not in this next year's budget, we didn't put that in there.
Well, it's under transfer to capital projects.
Are you talking about the admin stuff, or are you talking about?
No, it's number 3, under
Or maybe
expense.
we do stuff in there. But that's what that's what we wanna do, let's sit down and go through this, de novo, like we're looking at it brand new, let's just get that baseline. So everybody's on the same page, everybody understands what's happening, everybody knows what projects we're looking at.
'Cause I think
and we can move forward on that.
We've been really focused on EDC director and improving downtown, but if the rest of the city can't even get water, then I think our priorities are a little bit off if we're trying to repay downtown. I mean, people need water, and the reason why the city can't provide water is because it's growing so fast, it's hard to get the cash flow, basically, to support that.
I'll tell you one of the biggest issues we're gonna be having, and it's already started, is drainage, stormwater drainage. So those are projects that are right.
Yeah, you talking about Town Creek?
No, just
No, just
talk
in
about
general.
the roads you know,
Buffalo Springs, College Street, there's other areas of the city that are just, we have not kept up on these ditches.
Yeah, and so, drainage, same thing. I mean, if it's closing down a street, people can't pass it by, people don't feel safe living in a community where the drains have poor drainage, stuff like that. There's economic development there too. It's another service. And it seems like there, drainage, I mean, that covers almost all capital improvement projects.
Yeah, streets, roads, water, sewer.
Yeah, so I thought water and sewer was not included, but okay.
Yeah, so. We can also build a military base.
Unless, am I off base on that? I mean, I think, isn't it a part of economic development, supporting infrastructure, helping the city, at least through this high growth phase? Because, I mean, Magnolia had to stop growth because it could not keep up. And Conroe is having to stop growth because it can't keep up with water sewer. And Montgomery may end up being there soon, where we just have to say, no, we can't grow anymore because we're not keeping up fast enough.
So that's our water, once we get the well that we got budgeted, we're working on it now. Our water will be in good shape for a while, not forever, but for 5 years. Where we're gonna find is sewer.
Do we have any reasonable expectations or understanding?
$14 million.
14 million?
That's only for water?
That's for the sewer.
Sewer.
We gotta do it next year, no choice.
So that money's already been borrowed or?
We don't figure it out, I think, for it here.
Oh, we don't know where.
Yeah, we're talking about that right now, yeah.
Did we do it, I don't recall, did we do impact fees,
Oh, yeah.
developers?
Water, sewer impact fees, we're looking at transportation impact fees.
We used,
And we don't get, is that just a cash flow problem, or we're just not getting that money back?
So anyway, the point is, I'm just, we didn't do anything tonight, just wanted to get these numbers in front of you as quick as we could, and then I would like to schedule, if you guys are available, maybe,
You're trying to, you want to propose a workshop? on
Is
this?
this just an EDC workshop? or
yeah,
just
so
a city?
CDC, with me, Mary Ann, I'll invite the
Well,
engineers.
part of it
to
is that we
talk
don't
about-
know, I don't exactly know, I mean, I guess that's why we have city councils, people here who can maybe inform us on what does the city actually need.
For 2025, we're 1.4 million short of our capital project right now.
I'll have that as part of that,
That's what,
part of that,
Yeah.
I'll have the engineers here, we'll go over all of that stuff. And then we can talk about.
I think that
when does this budget have to be done?
We need, it's on the EDC budget,
Yes, because it has to go to council,
second week in August. Second week in August.
because it has to go to council to get approved before it goes. into
Yeah, I was
the-
asking Mary Ann this morning, I think,
So August
proposed budget must be
13th.
posted by mid-August. We just have, I think we have to post the proposed budget by mid-August to meet that posting requirement. And then we go through the approvals after that, but we have to have that final budget posted by that.
So we need a special meeting soon.
Yeah, I was gonna propose,
By the end of August, we have to have it all.
yes,
September the 1st starts the new, okay.
I'll say Wednesday, 31st, you guys are available.
When?
Wednesday, 31st.
July.
July, yeah. I'm gonna,
Daytime meeting would be awesome, but
yeah, let's do that.
I don't think.
Oh, you're not,
I'm
you're
not
not.
Casey or Carol will be there. You can do Fridays, right?
Depends on the Friday, I guess. I have every other Friday.
Let's hit our miss for me during the day meeting.
6 o'clock, 5 o'clock? Maybe 5? 5 you can do?
I can do 5.
That's the 23rd to 31st?
The 31st, Wednesday the 31st at 5 p.m.
The Wednesday.
Yeah, I can do that.
Okay,
That'll work?
everybody's okay?
5 o'clock workshop.
All right,
Good. Thank you.
all right, do we want to push forward?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so, item number 5. Oh,
6.
oh, I know what I was going to say. So the folks who are watching online, what do you call it, texted me and said that the sound is all muffled, they can't understand anything. So I don't know if
They
you
never
can.
can.
They never can, okay.
Workshop.
Just want to make sure. Not a workshop setup,
No.
okay. All right, so item number 6, review and discuss the proposed crime control and prevention district.
So this, we've got Chiefs here, so I'm gonna keep referring to him for correctness. So we met on this back in the fall.
Yes.
You and I started talking about
Right.
this back in the fall, about putting this district together. So another priority we had, out of that, strategic planning in the city council is to try to look at PD for facilities. Whether that be a new facility, you guys remember we bought 2 Prairie over there. That didn't work out, so we're trying to pivot. We looked at other spots. We started talking to a property owner off of Lone Star Parkway who came to us and offered us property to negotiate building on that property. So we went down that path, talked to him, talked to his engineers, architects, started putting some stuff together. Had individual meetings with the council. I think we had one workshop here where we talked about this, what the CCPD was, why we needed it, and so one of the things that let me back up for a second, so. Chief, do you want to do something?
We, it's like Gary said, that's kind of how it got started. We started looking at new facilities. So, I started looking at ways that was gonna be something better for this city in the long run. And here's what happens in the long run. About most cities, about 67% of a budget of a city goes to a police department. That only grows year after year after year. And in order to keep that 67% off of the city into this This project, this will give $1 million back to this city from day, once it starts, the first year. So in order to keep that 67% off of the city, here's what I look at. The legislature in 1984 passed a bill that said any city that's located within a large metropolitan area, like Montgomery, Conroe, like Montgomery County or Conroe, you can go in and you can do the crime control prevention district. And that's where you take those taxes, you take part of those taxes, and you use that taxes for police. That taxes will only grow. We started looking at it. MEDC got half of that. Other taxes, the tax people got half of that. And then the city got 1%. So we had to look at where we could get that money from, where it grow back, where it would continue to grow back. And that place was MEDC. Last year, MEDC brought in $1.2 million, $1.1 million, which would have been a split of about $550,000 between. That's only going to go back with sales taxes. I thought we need to look at a way to do this because we're not going to raise taxes. When we first talked to Casey about it, he was really hot about it because he thought we were going to have to raise taxes. This is not a tax raise on the city. We thought the best way to do this is to get the people who come into this city that's spending money in this city, let them build that facility. And not only build that facility, over the years, here's what we're expecting to do. Over the years, we expect that crime control prevention to take over the budget for the police department. Taking over that budget for the police department means all of that money goes back into the general fund of the city. When that money goes back into the general fund of the city, then you're talking about sewers and roadways that are going to be able to come out of that general fund instead of going 67% to a police department year after year. There are cities, Jersey Village, Sweeney, Melissa, Keller, Lakewood, all these cities have done this because it's taken the burden off of their general fund, and it's only grown. So you guys, I know you said, well, you're going to lose money this year, the first year. Yes, you are. But after that, talking to the finance lady, your money's only going to grow. And that money's only going to grow, it's going to grow for both places. And by the time we reach the point to where we're into this thing 3-4 years, if the citizens vote on it, that should be able to take over the entire city police budget. You're talking about cars for us. 4 cars for us cost about $282,000. And that's to get them equipped. And so we get to a point where we have to rotate. The equipment we use costs thousands and thousands of dollars. And it doesn't stop growing.
Chief, what is your budget annually, just for the police department?
Right now, we're looking at I think we're about $3 million of a budget that's $5 million. So you're talking, that's how much of that budget we consume because
Of the city's
hiring,
budget?
of the city's budget. You're talking about hiring, equipment, and all the things that we need throughout the course to go out and do our job. It's a lot of money. And it's not just this city. Like I said, there's not a city across this country that's almost 67% of their budget goes to their police department.
So this is basically a way to kind of cut the pie just a little bit differently.
Yes,
What it is.
yes,
And
absolutely.
I'm trying to understand it a little bit better. So when you said 3 to 4 years, does that mean that at some point you cut the cord and you guys?
That's what we're looking to do. In about 3 to 4 years, kind of cut that chart. I know we're looking at a new facility. I don't know if you guys have looked at this. This is the ordinance that was put together.
Right.
This ordinance here, it says that we could have came to you guys and had you build a facility. That's the Texas law on that, where it talks about that you can build a public safety. But we wanted to do something long term, not come to MEDC and say, hey, can you build this facility for us?
Right.
We wanted to do something that was long term, and this is a long term cure, not just a couple of years. This is a long term cure. All the cities that have done this, all these 10 cities that have done this, started out with a 5 year. They started out for 5 years.
Right.
Now everybody's expanded theirs to 10 years because it's done so much for the city, and it released that general fund back to where the city can use that money for roads, sewer, and the things that they need. Like had we gotten on this thing a few years ago, maybe we would have been there by now. But it's only a win-win, a growth situation where it's only gonna grow, and it's not tax dollars being increased on the citizens. It's people coming into this town who are buying the goods, who are going shopping, and we're spending that.
And can I ask just another couple of questions, because I'm not familiar with, I'm not on council, so I don't probably don't get the reports. What, how much money does the department actually put back into the general fund? You know, through tickets or whatever you
When you
guys.
said police department, yeah, that's what I was about to say. When you talk about police department, let me tell you, we're a necessary evil. We are a necessary
You
evil.
can't have
We can't-
revenue
Yeah, we
from
can't.
the police department.
Oh, so where
Yeah.
does it go though? I'm just wondering, do they collect?
Where does the what go?
Is that part of the general fund when,
Yes.
because it goes to the court?
Yeah.
I understand,
Yeah.
I'm just saying through your efforts.
Yeah,
There's a report
Yeah,
you can see,
yeah.
and it just tells you what they were, but as far as, well, how much do you make that up? You don't.
I know.
That's not a deal with how much we make it
You
go back
see
in.
how, I'm a little bit naive to the actual inner workings of the police department with respect to the city, but, obviously we need you. I mean, we love you, we appreciate you, so the question is, what's your long-term goal for this? Where do you see us going?
And that is my long-term goal. When I started looking at this, and we started looking at ways, because we knew two things. You either have to get a bond, or you have to raise taxes. There was just not any money in the city to say, okay, if you're gonna do a facility, so you gotta figure out how you're gonna do that. So I spent a lot of time thinking about that. But when I started to look at it, I looked at this. We need something long-term. Long-term is this, because it puts money back into the police department, it puts money back into the city. And if at some point, it gets to a point where we won't rely on any city budget money. I won't say any, but most of our money will come from that fund.
You guys have been involved in this since day one, what do you guys think?
Well, so, I'm a fan of it. One thing you know, we're space short, right?
Yeah, well, there's no, these guys gotta have a better facility.
So they don't have, they can't secure evidence, they don't have the facility they need. The other side doesn't have enough room, right? We can't hire directors, they don't have enough facility. We just need space.
Can we just ask everybody to be nicer and do better as a citizen?
So that's the thing.
I know it's an odd request, but then, no, I
It kills a lot of birds, right, with this
Okay.
one stone and the fact, okay, now they're gonna get their facility, the city can spread out, we don't need a new facility here, really don't have to do much remodeling, really, the offices are there.
So what you're saying is that the city could expand right where we're at?
Oh yeah, they get the whole site.
It's like, I don't need another person to report to.
No.
But you're saying, but that would happen, right? I mean, that would,
Yeah,
that would,
the police
you
are out
wouldn't
here.
be busting at the seams, they wouldn't be busting at the seams. So we're talking about a facility for
Yes.
the most part, right?
Yeah, we're looking at a facility, and I think that's what council wants to use the money for to start off with, is the facility, in order to pay for that facility. But, for me, in the long run, it's about how much money that we can put in there, how much money that's gonna go in there, where we can use it for a police budget, and a police budget strictly. Because that's where the savings is gonna come from. I mean, just like I just said, we could talk about, okay, going to economic development, saying, hey, look, this ordinance says that you guys can build a facility. We can build that facility, but is that gonna help us 10 years from now? Is that gonna help us 10 years from now, when that police budget is growing and growing and growing, and we still have to say, okay, we need this, we need drones, we need cars, we need all these things here to help us to do our job.
So Chief, go ahead.
So this board, it reports to the city,
This board is,
just like
I
this.
said.
So, and they can decide where money goes.
yes,
Yeah, but then the city still has to approve it.
just like this board here. It's exactly like this board here.
So it's all kind of the same pot of money, we're just slicing it different.
That's exactly right, just slicing it up.
But the biggest draw is not, I don't think we've had a sudden uptick in crime. We've had a sudden
No.
uptick in demand of water.
And it's
So-
not about an uptick in about crime prevention. It's about putting all those things into place where, because here's the, we're surrounded and it's coming. Everything is coming. But it's not about, we've got enough tipping crime and we can't handle it. It's about being able to put things in place that help us to understand better about these crimes and how to prevent these crimes. And it's about going with the community. And that's why we're doing the crime prevention and community crime prevention. That way it puts everybody in control. So no, it's not about, oh yeah, we've got a bunch of crime. No.
So the other thing, there is a back door. If it doesn't work out or doesn't look like it's working like it should, the council can revoke it after that.
Okay, so basically EDC's on the hook for 5 years for 50% of their budget or just a flat number?
No,
Half
it's
of the
none of
revenue.
it's budget, none of it's through EDC. If that goes
It's the
through.
revenue.
I understand, okay.
Right, it is
So-
crime prevention,
Right,
MEDC.
so we lose half of all the revenue that comes in, no matter how much it grows, right? Okay, and that's for a minimum of 5 years,
Don't
correct?
look at it as a loss, look at it as a growth, because you'll be back to where you were this year, next year.
How?
Because what's gonna happen,
The businesses already.
businesses, once those taxes come in from those businesses, all those other taxes,
Has anybody done
Yep.
a reconciliation, understand what that might look? Well, can
I-
anybody
I-
show us what that might look like?
That was the argument in that last meeting, you guys said I was crazy, and I said, no, here's the number, I know what the numbers are, we've gone over them
Well,
several times.
we've never seen the numbers.
Come to a council meeting, you're part of the city.
Well, I don't even know what's happened in my own meetings,
Jeff, we
much
can talk
less the
about-
council.
we have that workshop and we'll talk.
You'll have those numbers that you can share.
Okay, in that workshop,
Yeah.
you said, that's what I'm talking about. So we just need to understand it better, you know, us, we're pretty.
But we keep saying we're not gonna lose money, we're not, but we're losing potential revenue. So, I mean, that's just what, and that might be okay, I just wanna make sure we're being realistic about the
Yes,
terms.
you're absolutely right.
yeah, if I say you're not gonna lose money, in other words, what I'm saying is, that money will start to grow back. I'm not gonna say, because if the city does
Just not at the same rate.
they do $2.2 million next year in sales, then that 2.2 million will be split down the middle. Yes, you would have gotten the entire 2 million, when you're only gonna get 1.5 million.
Right.
So that's what, so say you're not gonna lose anything.
Basically what it does though, guys, is it allows the city to have more, we shouldn't have to come to an organization that answers to us with a handout every time we're out of money.
Right.
It's the city's money, we need to do these projects. We shouldn't have to come to this board going, hey guys, can you borrow some money? It's the city's money, why do we have to ask you to borrow?
Well,
These are the projects we need to do.
My
we need to
ultimate
do.
point is that you're right, for the EDC, we don't, I mean, you can remove us if y'all want, and we're a subsidiary to the city, and all I'm saying is, we're here to help the city, and we were never asked to help, basically, so it's almost like.
Well, we found out about it in the news.
After the fact.
You gotta admit, that was a little bit.
You guys have not been kept in the loop, and I'll take the hit on it. That was
So
not
much to
intentional.
Ryan's, I understand, I mean, what's done is done, much to Ryan's point, I mean, nobody wants to help the city more than we do, that's what our job is. And the police department are extraordinarily critical in making sure, I mean, safety's first, it's the number one thing.
Safety is economic
You
development.
got, it's economic development, right?
No
So
one's
we-
gonna put
we
a
let-
business up where there's crime, so
Yeah.
obviously it's important.
So that part, it just goes without saying, it was just understanding how, I didn't understand the argument last week because I haven't seen any metrics that show that we're actually going to increase our revenue. Here's the thing too, had the EDC actually done anything with the revenue that we've been receiving? A lot of that has to do with the fact that, like the director and some of the, and the wayfind signs and the other things that we've been trying to get.
We're all chiefs, no Indians.
Exactly. We're not getting anything accomplished, and so, I don't know, maybe it is the best thing just to pass it off and get it to something that's good actually.
I'll make 2 points. One is that we've got to get innovative, because this, to me, is part of us looking at solutions
Yeah.
to the big problems that we're going to be having now and down the road. And the second one is that, the EDC, yes, you guys will be losing half your budget, there's no doubt about that. Or losing half of the revenue you're going to get, you're realizing this year. But I think if unless we have some sort of economic hiccup, things stay the same this time next year, I think, I talked to Mary Ann about it, we can talk again when we have her, but her projection is that you guys will be very close to where you're at now.
Okay.
And, not for nothing, I pulled money
Well, we
wise,
could
we're
run
we're
out
good.
on McConnell Street alone.
Well, that's
So,
true.
I don't wanna,
That's true.
and that's
Yeah.
why we have I know we've been demonized for having all this cash, but we're saving it for a reason.
For a reason.
So-
We have a development plan in place, but we just can't get it off the ground, basically.
Well, the city has to catch up, right, and it's water, so.
And I think part of that conversation we have when we have Chris, our city engineer here, and Mary Ann, we're talking about CIP, let's talk about how we get some of these projects off the ground.
Well, just like you said before, Gary, we're in it to win it together. We're all about that. But we wanna just be kept in the loop mainly for the, and we understand that you get, just like we all do, we get to moving too fast and we forget to, hey, maybe we should tell those guys since we're gonna be borrowing from them, or not borrowing, but you know, at least siphoning off half the budget at the, which is fine if it's for a good cause, you know, and that's a good cause, but we wanna make sure that we're in the loop.
We should have had several conversations before this.
Well,
Yes.
okay, so that part, can we, I'm not looking for a mandate or anything, but when there's anything that has to do with the budget with respect to EDC, can we just agree that we'll be kept in some sort of room from council? I don't know who should be appointed to that, but at least give us some heads up so that we know, or I can be brought into it to where I can at least explain to the rest of the group.
I think the problem with this was, if you're looking at the 363, they give you so many days to get things done. They give you so many days.
Okay, so you were on a time.
So as we were getting those things done, then there came that point, okay, now we've got to let the MEDC know that we're putting this into place. But it could only give us so many, it gives us 10 days to call an action. It was 10 days to put it together,
We're smart.
10 days to take it to the council, 5 days to do this, and a couple days.
All right, so let's just, can I
Cancel our meeting in May.
I know. I'm not good at being devil's advocate, but let's just say the city doesn't vote for it. What happens then?
No.
Things stay the same?
We can bring it back in a year.
Okay.
When is the election, is it coinciding with the general election?
It is, yeah.
And
So it'll be a higher turnout than normal.
How is it gonna be, rolled out to the city so that they know what they're
Marketing,
marketing?
we're working on that.
We're starting to put together
Yeah,
some
how are you
marketing
gonna-
strategies.
this is just a side concern. The first thing that pops into my mind when I see this is that we have a crime problem in Montgomery. And so even from an economic development side.
Well, we have a growth problem. And that's the way.
I think it needs to be marketed, right, we're not selling, we're saying that.
Absolutely.
Well, we're just trying to get ahead of the growth.
And we'll be talking to all the HOAs, we'll be, putting on some town hall events, we'll be talking to people. Because it's not, if that's the first thing you get out of that, is that it's a crime, no, it's not. It's
Well,
just-
it is what it is, which is a growth problem.
Right.
And it's a growth problem, we need to reallocate so that we can allocate. And allocate meaning get some infrastructure, it's all one bucket of money when you think about it. It's just, unfortunately, there's rules. Well, unfortunately, there's rules as to how we can budget and spend it, but, thanks, Chief, for giving us a little more insight. I understand it better now, I'm glad you were here.
And, you know, I have another question. So it says, there's these laws here, and I'm not an attorney. And so I still question what
Which
we
one do you
can,
have?
well, there's this one that says we
That's
can,
the state statute.
states that we can build a
Yeah.
police station. Or the other one where it says we can build any capital improvement, but it says it has to be related to business. And I don't know what that means.
That's also what it says. in
Because
the
like if
ordinance.
we're supporting
The
a
ordinance
residential
is-
development,
Yeah.
Exactly, so
is
that's
that a
where
business?
I'm
And
like-
Also in the ordinance that the city put together,
I'm a little leery about that, just reading it at face value, like I said, because my understanding is that the MEDCs could not do water and sewer for, like.
It says water and sewer, but
it says water and sewer.
For business,
Yeah.
for business.
For business,
Right,
yeah.
So if we wanted, MEDC wants to do water and sewer downtown, go for it. But if they wanted water and sewer out here for leisure, they have to,
Including.
Yeah.
that's not a business.
And of course, okay.
It's
so
residential
the
development.
Projects for businesses, expand business enterprise, including projects.
Well, that's where,
Business enterprise.
that's where I was under the understanding that they
What
only
if you have
do.
home-based business?
yeah, I mean, I know we've been a little bit, we've kind of interpreted it how we wanted to, but I just,
I don't think
If you like, I can talk to Alan, and do a
Yeah.
firm determination.
it'd just be nice to have that clarity
The other
for us,
thing
because
too-
I think that's a point of confusion between different.
I know the council is, we're scraping every corner and shaking, picking up the couch cushions.
We're not alone,
Right?
I mean,
But-
that's just the region is under.
We understand that there's money allotted for certain projects, right? And I, for one, don't wanna tap that, right? I'd rather us
it sounds like we're at a precipice here where we know the retail is gonna bring extra revenue, and we know the retail is gonna bring extra people, extra homes, extra, and we're gonna have sewage, and we're gonna have water. So we're, you know, I mean, 5 years should be I would think a long enough runway to be able to pull this all off, wouldn't you think, Eric? So, I can see where, you know, you being in the position you're in, you know, just let me get to the infrastructure part, because that's where, the rubber meets the road, for the most part. Plus, these guys are busting at the seams, so we can't have that. At some point, we gotta give them a little room. And, it's a catch-22 in a way, so the only outlet is EDC, it sounds like. So do we get to wear capes and run through the middle of the street? It's okay. We won't get arrested for that, will we? I promise to keep all my clothes on. I don't want anybody to see that.
There's another thing.
Always got clothes on.
As long as you got some clothes on, we're okay.
There's another thing that I think is worth bringing up. And the council, the board, the CCPD board obviously can change, it's gonna change. But hopefully, the councils that come appoint similar people to what we have now. Retired police chief, active policemen, you know, people that know police.
Right.
Because they have to approve that budget too. So they know where that money's spent, they know
what's
the
important to
ins
the
and outs.
department. Yeah.
I'm not a policeman, I've never been a policeman. I look at a car and go, $100 grand, I can go buy a car for 30, you know?
Right, they got some special equipment.
Yeah, exactly, right? So that brings it up more eyes, more expertise, instead of just, yeah, whatever.
Well, I mean, I'm a big fan of bureaucracy. In other words, keep government small if we can. But I think we have to grow at least some to be able to at least absorb the growth that's coming our way. And that's organic growth. That's not bureaucracy growth. So hopefully we'll make the right call and do the right thing and do it for all the right reasons. So the workshop is a great idea, Gary. Let's get that going. We've always had great success with those. And then if you will, just as an action item for my own sanity, send me somebody that I can reach out to help us find a director consultant that will get us moving along, or at least find who we need to go to.
Wait, say that one more time.
Like Texas EDC, how do we get a hold of them? If you got any numbers of people that you
No,
want.
I was looking for the whole of that.
Oh, okay.
If you guys.
I don't know anybody from Allen. I don't even know where to begin.
Okay.
So,
Then
how about you just direct me, tell me where you want me to go, and I'll take on some of that responsibility. So we're gonna, are we okay with this item, and then move on to the last couple of things? The board inquiry, this is a place where we can kind of express some of the views of, I've already mentioned to Gary and also to James, our city secretary here, that I'd like to try to get an agenda a little bit earlier than we've been getting them, so that we can make sure things don't fall off, because during our last meeting, we were expecting to see this directional signage package that we could vote on to have firm numbers to be able to decide which package we were going to go with, and that didn't happen. So I would have caught that if, by the time I did catch it, we were within the 72 hours, because it came out on Friday night, and city wouldn't open again until Monday. So the point is that James has said that he's going to do his best to, maybe not the minutes, but at least give the agenda a little bit earlier, so that we can review it as a draft and decide if something hasn't gotten put on there that needs to be on there. So as part of the board inquiry, I mean, does anybody have any comments on some of the things?
As far as the minutes, in the city allocate money for people to take the minutes?
Well, we do have someone taking minutes, but according to Mr. Palmer here, it's difficult to get them done, even with the staff they have. In other words, we didn't receive our minutes last meeting. We did get the minutes from the last meeting, but the prior meeting we didn't receive. And then I also mentioned, as you might have seen, I think this directional sign package was very important to get us moving forward on it. And in the minutes, it states that the minutes of last time we got out on the pages.
So we paying somebody to do that?
So,
Well,
yeah,
McCorkindale was, Dave McCorkindale said, they will have the final set at the next meeting. Concerning any comments you may have, you may have. Do not feel like you have to say it now or lose it again. Just funnel those comments to Jeff and we'll make sure we get them to him. And then Dave said that, yes, Jeff Angela asked if they would send the RFP out to multiple sign companies and they agreed to do that. But I never received anything, nor was I given enough time to notice it wasn't on the agenda before we were within the 72-hour period. So the point I'm trying to make is, I think with James now, we're gonna have a little better traction. Dave has evidently taken a step back from EDC and focusing on other duties. And then James is gonna be our point guy to help us try to get some of these things done, you know, the minutes actually asked us to do that. So, any comment on that? Carol, you weren't here, but you were here.
as far as the signage, I think we just need to decide, obviously, we can't buy all the signs. As a group, though, we should decide which signs are priority.
Right.
Do you say have that as a discussion item next time, or we just pick?
We can pick now, as we know,
Well,
But it's not on the
we don't have
agenda.
any pricing.
but it's in the, we can just make an inquiry for the pricing of what we want.
Well, I don't have the thing in front of me, so.
Well,
So I guess,
Why don't we
by
just say-
prioritizing signs is, you know, signs
The 105.
105, you want the little signs, you want the big entry signs. What's priority?
Priority is 105.
The
Let's
big
just
entry
For all those
sign?
people, no, I don't care, we've already got 3 entry signs,
Yeah.
that's like.
So-
one of these.
We've got to kind of slow down here a little bit on the inquiry. We can ask questions, but we can't deliberate. It's not a posted
Okay.
topic, so we need to kind of settle that
all
down
right,
a
so
little bit.
agreed. So, all right, so we wanted, our inquiry is real simple. Can we get pricing as promised?
I will, I'll get with Dave as soon as he gets back, and of course I'll talk with Gary, and we'll get you something. Via email prior to the next meeting, and that, you know, we'll get that on the next
So we can
agenda.
make a decision at the next meeting on which signs we want to start home.
So let me ask this, do you want him to just send it to you, Jeff, and then
Yes.
you?
Just, is it
Well,
okay?
he can't send it to everybody.
I'll send it to everybody, and that
We
way
just can't deliberate.
you can individually, you know, just digest that information and see
Right.
what you got going. If we're gonna do a CIP budget meeting on the 31st, we could put that as an additional workshop item. You wouldn't be
Let's
able
do
to,
that.
you wouldn't be able to,
on it.
vote on it, but,
Well,
we can
get-
add that
we
on
can
there.
get close to, yeah, this is the way we're going.
Yeah.
All right, can we do that, James?
Sure.
That'd be awesome.
Sure.
Okay.
Can we get an update on the McCown situation? Like what's going on with the water, sewer drainage, and what's holding it up, holding everything up? 'Cause I feel like we haven't an update on that in a while.
Yeah, we need that Chris.
Huh?
We need that Chris to tell us where we're at.
Yeah, that's what, he'll be at the, yeah.
Okay, so we can maybe add that update on the account?
Mhm.
Renee, anything else to add? Somebody, chief, you good? I'm good, sir. All right, so I think we're good then. All right, so, if it's okay with everybody, I'll accept motions to adjourn the meeting. Everybody?
So I
Okay.
make a motion.
Ryan made a motion to adjourn. Anybody second? Casey seconds. This meeting's adjourned at 7:21 PM. Thank